This is a video that is a response to Shadowwonder. He kind of has been commenting on things, and he asked me to kind of give a clarification of these two terms, a priori and a posteriori, and kind of show how to use these things in sentences if possible. So first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for subscribing and commenting and all that stuff. I never really ask anybody to subscribe or watch or anything. So for those of you who do, I really appreciate it. The reason I do these things is to talk to people about this kind of philosophy stuff, and learn things from people, and maybe kind of spread some knowledge around if I can. So on to this whole thing. Basically, these are two terms that are very important in philosophy. They kind of became pretty central as a result of the philosopher Immanuel Kant. So starting with a priori. A priori is meaning that if we are saying that something is known a priori, that means it's prior to experience or via a thing I don't really think of as much, by reason alone. Think of it, reason as having to do with logic. So think about the thing to know that 2 + 1 = 3. Do we have to have a experience to know that to know or to understand this, or to know and to understand this as true? So if I have 2 items plus 1 item, does that make 3 items? Do I have to have an experience of putting these things together to know that 2 + 1 = 3? No. So, oops. And the whole thing here is there's a big debate in epistemology as to whether or not there can be a priori knowledge. So, to know something a priori, to know that 2 + 1 = 3 a priori, is to know it prior to experience or by reason alone, not having to have had any kind of experience to know this or to understand this. By reason alone, as to, do we have some kind of reason or logic built into our senses or to our minds, that we don't have to have experiences of things to understand certain logical truths. Next, the a posteriori means by or with experience or through observation. So to know something a posteriori is to have to experience something, to have had an experience in order to know it or understand it. So let's say I'm saying that the New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl in 2009, which they did. The New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl in 2009. So do I have to have had an experience to know that or to understand that? Yes. First of all, I have to have some kind of experience to know what the Saints are, what football is, or to what the Super Bowl is, or as to what the year 2009 is. So I have to have had an experience to know that the Saints won the Super Bowl in 2009. So I have to have had an experience to know that. So that's different from this. There are many things, well, most things in the world we know or understand a posteriori, meaning that we know or understand them because we have to have had an experience or some kind of observation to know or understand them. So look at these two logical sentences. One has a disjunction, one has a conjunction. So it is Tuesday or it is not Tuesday. That's always true, therefore it's logically true, correct? If it's Wednesday, this part of this here disjunct is true. So in the disjunction, if one of these parts is true, then the whole thing is true. The only way that the whole sentence will be false is if both of these are false. But that can never happen in this. Therefore, this is logically true. But do we have to have an experience to know that this is true always? That's another issue. The conjunction, we have to have both of the conjuncts to be true in order for the whole thing to be true. Because if one of the conjuncts is false, the whole thing is false. It is Tuesday, and it is not Tuesday. So let's say it's Wednesday, which it is. That means this part is false, but this part is true, but the whole thing becomes false. So this is logically true. This is logically false. This is always going to be true, no matter what happens. This will always be false, no matter what. So this is kind of a thing to think about. Do we have to have an experience to know that this is always true, or to know that this is always false? And that's another issue. Or do we have to have experience to know certain mathematical or geometrical truths? Now to think about these terms in sentences is to kind of think about are certain things like logical truths or mathematical truths possible to be known a priori, or do they have to be known a posteriori? So, and this whole thing relates to another concept, this distinction of the analytic and the synthetic. What analytic is if a certain statement is analytic, it's true in virtue of the meaning of the predicates. So we have the statement, a bachelor is a unmarried man. That is an analytic truth, because a bachelor is a unmarried man. So that's known to be true in virtue of the predicates. Synthetic are things that are not so. They are that we have to experience something, which kind of relates to this. It's kind of hard to. It's kind of not always like that. But synthetic, we have to have some kind of experience of the world in order to judge this type of statement as true or false. So, if you want a better video on these two terms, I can do that. I wasn't planning on it, but if you would like that, I could do that. And if you think I've messed something up or explain these things wrong, please comment below, or if you have further questions, also comment below. Thank you very much.